September 15, 8:30 and 2:30 here in Bangkok, and live here from Bangkok. I'm really happy. Sawadee krap to all of you, and welcome to this wonderful session. Thanks, first of all, to Admirals that we can make this show from Monday to Friday every morning to talk about a little bit about the markets, what we can do, any news, new trading ideas, and something like that. So at the same moment, we stream this show on YouTube. So we'll find a button in the right corner. You can click on it. You can subscribe this channel so you never will miss an episode from Paul, Jens, or myself. Of course, everything about Admirals. And yeah, so you can give us a like if you want, so you can leave a comment. If you say, okay, I have something to ask or something to comment about the video, about the show, I'm really happy to have you here and that we can spend our precious lifetime to each other, and I can share my ideas and trading knowledge with you. You know, the only advantage I have in comparison to you is that I have a little bit more advantage, a little bit more experience in trading, around about 33 years right now. So, but on the other hand, we are fighting the same fight every day. And the point is that we stick to the rules with our trading. We understand we are not institutional traders. We don't have that money to influence the price on the right side. We are private traders. We have to work with probabilities. And you know, this kind of probabilities is this point what makes us crazy. On the right side of the chart, where we always have this big question mark when we start a new trade. So the moment you start with a kind of logical trading and logical kind of thinking, then you become successful. And yeah, this is the point what I want to teach you, to move away the emotions and bring back the way of logical thinking. And you know, probabilities is a part of this. I would say let's share my screen. I can fix numbers. Here we go. There is the chat. So also let me say good morning, Mike. Sawadee krap. Marie-Louise, wonderful good morning. Uwe, good morning. Raquel, oh, I give you the answer, Raquel. Give me a little time to, I saw your email, but you know, everything is time delayed here a little bit and was on the road on weekend. So I give you the answer. Today, you got a mail from me. So Tina, wonderful good morning. Ian also, and Plumman also. Okay, so on YouTube, I see Barry Zakaria, wonderful good morning. And greetings from Bangkok to Kenya. Wonderful that you're here. And K Wise Official also, good morning. So let's see what we have on the plate for today. It's Monday, 15. So China came up with some numbers. We expect today at 2:30 German time, by the way, Canadian monthly survey of manufacturing, and also Canadian same time the wholesale trade. So this week will be an also kind of a calm week because there are no any rate decisions or something like that. So we can be focused on sticking to rules all the time. So, and Nima, wonderful good morning also. Nice to have you here in this show. Okay, so let me invite you to our common Forex webinars. And on Wednesday, 17th, we have interesting webinars, 2 of those. First, how experienced traders trade the DAX 40 now. It's held by Jens Klett. And at the same day, that Wednesday, Mr. Dr. Elder will hold an open webinar, trading with Dr. Elder at 6 Europe time, so German time, 6. So fix it to your own place. Where are you right now? Okay, feel free to ask if something is in your mind. I can see it here on the 7th screen on YouTube and on Zoom as well. So feel free, don't hesitate. to ask whatever is in your mind. So while we're doing that, we have to check the day trading part. And you know, we trade DAX 10 minutes, DAX 40 10 minutes in here live trading. So first of all, we have to realize that we are still in a big uptrend. And this big uptrend is the pink trend. You see the pink color. This is the trend. There was the high at the point of high, by the way, an all-time high, by the way. And we saw a correction, but at this purple line, we had no trend break at the moment for now. So point of control is still placed here at 16,031 euros by one future contract. So, and then, by the way, we had the possibility in a corrective short trend, and that was this one. So, and there was the chance to make money. In the second trend arm was the first possibility to go short, and it worked. Afterwards, the price went up, and finally, we had a trend break here at this point 3. So there was the point 3. That's the point 3, and that's the point 2. So here also, there was the chance to go short, because this was the second trend arm, and here was the chance to go short, or at least at the point 2 also, and here was the money in. So always the second trend arm is the money, with the highest probability. So, and then we saw the trend break, not here, but here. Here was the trend break, which means we start with a new trend, and this is the yellow one. So, and the yellow one is not valid right now. Why not? Because that's the point 2. Yeah. So, and there was no close actually about this point 2. So I would say this is not a confirmed point 2. So this is the start. This is not a confirmed point 3. It's always with a question mark also. This is also kind of question mark. Why is it? Because we don't have a valid trend. And for a valid trend, we need this, a close above the last point 2. So actually, it's just nothing. So, and I know people would say, no, come on, this is a sideways phase. Yeah, in your perception, it is. But if we go more far away, maybe we scale out in a kind of hourly chart, 4-hourly chart, or maybe daily chart, or maybe it's the indeed 4-hourly weekly chart. The trader who is working in a weekly chart will never see sideways phase. So be careful with such words, because they influence you in a bad way, because everything starts and ends in the order book. Yeah, and in the order book, there is just numbers. Exactly. There are no sideways phase to see in the order book, just numbers. That's the real cause of trading. You know, so everything works in your life too, cause and action. Yeah, or cause and effect, however you would call it. It's always the same. So everything, there's a deeper word, and this is dependent origination. Yeah, so in everything, the real cause is in the order book. So they are just numbers, and the numbers create the tick chart. And afterwards, what you can see afterwards is made by human people, especially by you, because when you see this is sideways phase, who cares? Because numbers never show you a sideways phase. This is just what you see in your own perception. So actually, that means for us, if you trade the 4 magic rules, I teach here every morning, a valid trend, a young trend, which means we want to go into the second trend arm, because this is the first possibility to open a trade. Then out of the correction, we need a correction first. And then maybe in the correction, we see this kind of balance candle, or that we see, okay, the price turns in the correction zone. This is the so-called accumulation phase. Then we can make this kind of checklist. And this kind of checklist gives you this real freedom in trading. There is no guessing on the right side of the chart, and which means, by the way, the question mark becomes slower, it becomes closer and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. The rest is just a small question mark, which is just based on probabilities. It's a very interesting and deep thought, by the way. So which means actually in DAX 40 in 10 minutes, we can do nothing. Why? Because the main trend, which is the pink one, is also too major, it's too old. So there was the chance here on the lower side to make money. Actually, we are in the pink trend, in the main trend here, we are in a correction. And the leading trend, which was the red one, which is broken, we are trendless, but just in the leading trend. The main trend is still valid. It's an old trend. And you see we are within the red zone, so there's nothing to do for the moment. So let's go to our main focus charts. But before we will do that, because I draw you something here, you remember we talked about Australian dollar, Canadian dollar last week, in case you trade 4-hourly chart and in case you have this Australian dollar, Canadian dollar on your plate. Then I taught you, look at this one. Here we go. I hope you did it. Here we go. So you see, there was the second trend arm. There was the balance candle entry here, all at latest at the point 2. And finally, I said, look, maybe this area, this volume area is reachable. And you see, it worked. So it was also possible to make money with this wonderful trend. So, and now, by the way, this trend, the red trend is the main trend, is still valid. And now on the right side, you see, oh, there is a leading trend, and the leading trend is the correction. And look what happens. You see, that's the valid trend. That's the valid trend here. Start the pink one, and you see second trend arm, balance candles, and as always, we overcame the last point 2, which means the strategy was again very successful. So, and with this kind of explanation, maybe you realize that 2 things are very important, that you learn how to trend perfect, because if you don't trade the trend, if you don't draw the trend perfect and it follows logical principles, then you will miss the signals or you get wrong signals. And this destroys your performance, by the way. Because if you take the second trend arm, which is your first possibility to go into a trade, it's the highest probability. You see it almost here on my screens every day. It doesn't matter which time frame. You can do it in 5 minutes, in hourly. I do it in daily chart or weekly chart, and in focus chart, sometimes in 4-hourly chart. But you see in every chart, the second trend arm is the highest probability. It's absolutely incredible. So let's go to the focus charts. It's Dow Jones. And in Dow Jones, actually, there was a trend break, a kind of trend break here, which means there is the short trend. And it was this one move. No, actually, there was a changing of the color. So first, second, here we go. Second trend on balance candle, and it worked again and again. And now we are in the fourth trend arm. We are in the correction zone. Actually, your chance to make money was here in this balance candle to do this to the lower side. So now we are kind of old trend, 4-hourly chart. The main trend is broken. This is, by the way, now the main trend. But here we go, there is nothing to do for the moment. If we check DAX 40 in a 4-hourly chart, then we have to see that we have to realize that we still are in an uptrend. And this is really, really interesting because we are keeping the price at the, at the all-time high. This is move. So that's the trend, by the way. Here we go. And yes, there was a kind of trend continuation. So which means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 6th trend arm, and we keep the price at the all-time high at the moment. So a lot of buyers with high volume there, actually nothing to do. So another weekend I got interesting on the Traders Yard. In our live trading room, you can have access free of charge, by the way. Someone came up with some trading ideas or with some analysis in daily chart. There was a kind of broadening formation and whatever. And I don't want to judge this idea, but we have to make the difference between if you are an institutional trader, which means you could, with your money, have influence to the price, and you need no strategy, you need a tactical kind of thinking. But if you're professional traders, I used to give you the answer, okay, I know kind of broadening information. I know that because I'm in trading for 23 years, so I guess I know almost every kind of formation. So, but my question is, where is the advantage of making such an analysis if you cannot use it for your advantage for your trading? So first of all, if you see any kind of formation, whatever you see there, it's just your perception. Even you see it in online, or maybe a kind of whatever, there's a webinar, or you can sort of someone post it on Twitter or something like that, and you say, oh, look, this is a triangle formation, or maybe a double high, double low. Also, it's always the same. Just a lot of people see it, doesn't make it more right. It's a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. But even a lot of people see the same does not mean that it is right. So my question, or it's a kind of food for your thoughts, is can you prove it with numbers? Because as a private trader, you have to work with probabilities. And probabilities means you need a mathematical calculation, a statistic that proves that your trade or your trading idea is successful. And you need more than 100 trades to prove it. A kind of statistic means you need more than 100 trades to prove that this formation is really working. So next food for your questions, for your mind and your thoughts is, what's the plan? So I take this example again, this kind of broadening information. So for example, where is the entry? Where is the exit? What's the plan beyond such an broadening information or formation? Or maybe double high and double low, whatever you see there, nothing to judge, of course not. It just gives you this idea to think about it. Always the big topic is we have to work with probabilities. If you cannot work with guarantees, you have to work with probabilities, and this is what we have to do. So be careful with those things and take it for your learning curve, that you see how you can work better in the future. This is why I teach people with my brand new online course, which is released last week, and the English one will be released this week, only by logic, deep logic. Yeah. So this is now Euro USD, by the way, and the Euro USD was going deeper. And here we see this kind of stabilization, which means we have a couple of more buyers. Actually, we made our trade here already because we went in here and here out, in and out, and move away. That was what we did in this trade. That was the plan, because we are deep, or we are still deep in a green zone. So I just wanted to take this move in the second trend arm, break through the points 2, get out. That was the plan, and it works again. So What we are waiting for right now in Euro USD in 4-hourly chart. Yeah, by the way, we are still deep in a green zone, and you see the point of control is quite far away from our current price, which means this gives us a chance to make a huge profit on the way up to the point of control. But we have to wait until we see our trend, and then we can work with our 4 rules. So in Bitcoin, I'm still waiting for my entry because I wanted to open the trend at the trade when we see a close below the point of high, because we're on the way back to the point of control. But then I realized, okay, there are more buyers here at this price zone. So there was no intention to make a trade there or to set a pending order there. So actually I can see we have more buyers in the market right now, which means, okay, trend is still valid. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the next balance candle. Or maybe we see, okay, they are creating maybe a new trend. It's a kind of similar situation like in Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. It's a small leading trend. Maybe this could be an interesting idea to make a long. But maybe let's see what happens until tomorrow. Then we have the gold price still going up. It's an old trend we showed last week. So in case you missed the show, we have this completely YouTube channel for this morning show. You can watch every one we made since January the 18th when we start with this show almost 1 year right now. So, but the trend is literally old. Trend starts here at end of September. The trend was really valid, and we are still in uptrend, but the trend is too old. Yeah, and now we are waiting. Just waiting for a new trend that we can open a new trading idea. Finally, British Pound USD, yeah, also in a downtrend. So we talked about it already. So we are also like Euro USD, we are deep in a green zone and we are waiting for a new trend. So actually there's nothing to do. So Willie, which time frame, please? If you want that I analyze something for you in the show, please always with the time frame, because you know we have different time frames and therefore different pictures in different time frames. So 4-hourly chart. Okay, let's do it. British pound, Swiss franc. So let's see. British pound, Swiss franc. So here we go. That's British pound, Swiss franc. Oh, so basically we have a valid downtrend. We have a valid downtrend. It starts here October 20. So down and down and down. So there was no trend continuation, which means here we go. That's the 0.3, which means there the trend will break. This is the trend, by the way. So that's the trend. So there was no trend continuation here. And that's not really a picture I want to trade. Not really. You do this, 100% correction. Yeah, it's still a young uptrend, but you have, that's the problem here, that we are stuck here at the point of low. So maybe we have a lot of space to go up to the point of control. Which means it's a possibility maybe to open the trade close to the last point to speculate on this trend or this breakout to the upper side. So actually you see price is here not working for us. It's a really unclear picture. It's an unclear picture, but maybe you see that there's a kind of correction. If you draw it in that way, then you have a second trend on. Yes, because there was no trend continuation there. But check it on real candles. This is Heikin Ashi, And maybe if you have a close there with a real candle, then you have a trend break, by the way. And then there is no trade actually on the right side of the chart. So to be honest, not really, not really. So before we go, I have one running trade for the moment. I have to handle it. Before we do that, maybe we can open the poll of today. You know, it's Monday. So my question, I will see if you follow my thoughts. So my question, what are your trading goals for this week? So I want to stick to the rules under all circumstances, the first option. And the second option is I always want to have a plan before my trade starts. So what is your private goal about trading about this week? Sticking to the rules under all circumstances. This requires a big why, a real strong why for you. And I always want to have a plan before my trade starts. So take your time. You have your checklist. And if you have the perfect time frame which fits to your lifestyle, which means you don't miss an entry, then you have time enough. So check it. Where is the point of control? So if you want to trade just a move in the second trend arm, just a move from the correction up to the point 2, or maybe you see, okay, I have enough place to go up to or to go to the point of control, you trade the trend. And in case you want to trade the trend, so how will you trail your stop loss, for example? So this is a kind of making a plan, and the plan must be fixed before you push the button to open the trade or to set a pending order like stop seller, stop buy. Before you do that, you need to know perfect plan, because this reduces the emotions while the trade is open then, because you know, okay, I have a plan, how I trail the stop, where is my target, when I want to make the trade safe, like a partial profits, all those things you have to are a part of a big plan in every single trade. So, and this could be a really, really cool goal for this week. And so my suggestion is, please make it just for one trade. For the next trade, make it just one time that you watch yourself, what you're doing there. This is kind of planting good seeds, you know, in your mind. And then if you did it with one, so take the next one, and then the next one, not that next one. So we have this goal for this week, but start with the first single small step. Because a wise man says, even the longest way starts with the first step. The first step is just making a plan, by the way. Yeah. Okay, so this is just a question. So let me know what's in your mind for this week. So we have one open trade at the moment, and this is silver. And in silver, we are on track, by the way. So that was the trend, or that is the trend, actually. That's the trend, move, correction, move. And you see, there was the trend, second trend arm. And I decided, it was my plan, to wait until we see a close above the point of control, because I know about my experience. Sometimes we have a kind of, a lot of volume around the point of control. Sometimes the volume is on the buyer side and sometimes you're on the seller side. Yeah. And this is what we have to do. So, and finally, we open the trade close to the last point 2, and you see, actually, we have a close above the point 2, which means the strategy was working again. That's cool stuff. You see, doesn't matter the time frame. If you take the second trend arm, it works. And if I remember, we had no losses with the last trades, right? I will make an analysis about the trading in the last 2 weeks. I guess we will have just only plus trades. I'm not sure, but I guess it is like that. To have a plan is according to the rules. So of course, maybe there's a 5th rule, Hartmut. That's the 5th rule, to have a plan. So how we handle this? Okay, we are in the red zone. We are trading away from the point of control. So which means, okay, if you have a bigger position, making partial profits, I cannot. So I trade my stop into profit and let the market decide how much money we'll get. Even we see more buyers, then we can now go up. If not, then we have a small winner, but we have a winner. And that's the big idea for today. So in 4-hourly chart, there are no new trading ideas for today. And in daily chart, the same like last week, because, oh, there's just one. I want to show you. This is Euro Australian dollar. In daily chart, by the way, daily charts, because you see trend, then we have the balance candle, and here we go. We are back on track to the last point too. So this is what we can do here. And the same is in Australian dollar, Swiss franc, it's the same. Okay, guys, so the question for today was, what are your trading goals for this week? I'm really happy that you were part of it. And we said 65% says, I always want to have a plan before my trade starts. And this is really, that makes me really happy if you have this plan. So again, start with the next trade. Be calm, make a plan, write it down maybe if you want, and then push the button. But do this in this row, okay? So I want to say thank you for listening to me. I am looking forward to see you tomorrow again, right 8:30, right before the markets open. And I hope you will have a wonderful day, and be careful, have courage, and be kind. And as always, may the Forex